Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping right in today with something really quite fascinating.
Yeah, what have we got?
Photobiomodulation in dentistry.
Ah, PBM. Yes, definitely fascinating.
Basically, using specific kinds of light to, well, kickstart your mouth's own healing power.
Exactly. It's about using red and near-infrared light, very specifically, to interact with cells. And the research, honestly, it's becoming so compelling.
It sounds like it tackles something huge, that whole issue of slow healing, inflammation, stuff that really impacts people.
It absolutely does.
Yep.
I mean, think about it. Oral health problems. They're not just about cavities.
Right.
It's pain after dental work that lingers, or gum issues that just don't seem to clear up, or even, those chronic conditions like mouth sores.
Yeah, things that really drag down your quality of life, your oral health-related quality of life, as they call it.
Precisely. It affects your diet, how you sleep, your confidence, work, everything. We sometimes use things like the Oral Health Impact Profile, the OHIP, to measure just how much.
It's amazing how connected it all is. So, okay, PBM, photobiomodulation, how does it step in? How is it a solution here?
Well, the really exciting part, the research, it strongly points to PBM being able to dial down that inflammation
Okay.
and significantly speed up the body's own healing processes. That's why there's so much buzz around it.
Right, so for this deep dive, we're focusing on that positive, compelling research, exploring the science behind it, especially for oral health.
Makes sense. There's plenty to talk about there.
Okay, so let's get down to the nuts and bolts. How does shining a light literally trigger these changes? What's happening at the cellular level?
Okay, so at its core, PBM is a photochemical process. Inside your cells, there are these specific components called chromophores.
Chromophores, like little light receivers?
Kind of, yeah. They absorb the photons, the light energy, and that absorption kicks off a whole cascade of beneficial events,
Such as?
most notably boosting the production of ATP.
ATP, that's the cell's energy currency, right?
Exactly. Think of it as giving your cells more fuel to do their jobs. It also affects things like reactive oxygen species and calcium ions. They're important signaling molecules within the cell.
So more energy and better communication inside the cell.
You've got it. And that improves cellular activity, then powers processes like cell growth, differentiation, moving cells to where they need to be, all critical for tissue repair.
And the results we actually see are
Less pain, faster healing, and reduced inflammation. Those are the big three.
incredible. It sounds almost futuristic. Where did this whole idea even come from, using light to heal?
Oh, the history is pretty cool, actually. It goes back to the 1960s. A researcher named Andre Mester. He was doing experiments with low-level lasers on mice, actually trying to see if they caused cancer.
Right.
But instead, he found the opposite. The mice treated with this, well, very low-power laser showed faster hair growth and wound healing. No cancer.
Wow, so a total accident led to this discovery.
Pretty much. Serendipity. He called it laser biostimulation back then.
Laser biostimulation, now PBM. Okay, so when we talk lasers in dentistry, I often think surgery, cutting. Is this the same thing?
Good question. No, it's really important to distinguish. High-intensity lasers are for surgery. They use heat.
Thermal effects.
Exactly. PBM uses low-intensity, sometimes called cold lasers. There's no significant heating effect. It's non-thermal. It stimulates biology. It doesn't cut or burn. It's more like a gentle nudge for the cells.
Okay, that makes sense, a biological nudge. Now, I've heard the term optical window. What's that about?
Right, the optical window. It generally refers to the range of wavelengths, roughly 600 to 1150 nanometers, where light can penetrate biological tissues most effectively.
Ah, so it can actually get to where it needs to go.
Yes, and be absorbed by those key chromophores we mentioned. Within that window, a really important one is cytochrome C oxidase. It's a crucial enzyme in mitochondria, the cell's powerhouses. Red and near-infrared light are well absorbed by it.
So the specific color or wavelength of the light is absolutely critical.
Absolutely critical. Different wavelengths penetrate at different depths and get absorbed by different molecules. Choosing the right wavelength, or combination of wavelengths, for the specific target tissue and the desired effect is key.
Okay, so we have the light getting absorbed. How does that translate into less pain and faster healing? What are the actual mechanisms?
We understand several key mechanisms now. First, as we said, boosting ATP, more energy for repair.
Got it.
Second, it can help detach nitric oxide, that's NOO, from cytochrome C oxidase. NO can sometimes block energy production, so releasing it helps things run better.
Okay, interesting.
Third, it modulates reactive oxygen species, ROS. Now, Too much ROS is bad, oxidative stress, but PBM seems to create a small, controlled amount that actually acts as a beneficial signal in stress cells.
So it's like a controlled stress signal that triggers a positive response.
Sort of, yeah. It helps activate the cell's own defense and repair pathways. And fourth, there's usually a very slight localized temperature increase, a photothermal effect, but again, not enough to cause damage, just maybe help with local blood flow.
And you mentioned calcium ions, too.
Right, especially with near-infrared light. It seems to activate certain light-sensitive channels in the cell membrane, letting more calcium ions in. And calcium is a huge signaling molecule involved in tons of cellular processes, including healing.
Wow. Okay, so it's definitely not just shining any old light. There's some complex biology happening there.
Very complex and really elegant when you look at it.
Okay, so given all the science, where are we seeing PBM actually being used in dentistry now? What does the positive research show?
The applications are surprisingly broad. In oral medicine, for example, research shows really good results for things like aphthous ulcers, canker sores,
Mm.
and herpes simplex outbreaks.
Oh, wow, those can be miserable.
Exactly. Also, conditions like pemphigus vulgaris, oral lichen planus,
Mm.
even things like fissured tongue or burning mouth syndrome. Plus, easing pain from ortho treatment, helping with TMDs, general dental pain, even potentially making anesthesia work better.
That's a huge list already. What about after surgery, like wisdom teeth removal?
Yeah, in oral surgery is showing real promise for reducing that post-op swelling and pain.
That would be a relief.
Definitely. Also, potentially helping nerves recover if they've been affected, improving wound healing generally, and maybe even helping preserve the bone level after an extraction when used right.
Making recovery smoother, faster,
Yeah.
less painful, huge benefit. And TMD, those jaw joint problems.
For TMDs, especially the muscle-related pain, myofascial pain, PBM is looking like a really good non-invasive option for short-term relief.
Short-term relief.
Yes, studies show it can reduce pain and improve how well the jaw works, often as a helpful addition to other standard treatments.
Okay, so another tool in the toolbox for that tricky condition. What about orthodontics? Straightening teeth.
Yeah, pretty interesting stuff there, too. Some research suggests PBM might actually accelerate tooth movement.
Really? Faster braces?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Also, maybe less pain from the separators they use initially, perhaps shorter treatment times with clear aligners, helping stabilize mini implants used for anchorage, and reducing pain right after the appliances go on.
Less pain and faster treatment. That's like the holy grail for ortho patients.
It certainly sounds appealing, doesn't it? And then there's periodontology gum health.
Right. What about gums and the bone around the teeth?
Positive results there, too. Stimulating healing of both the soft tissues, the gums, and the hard tissues, the bone. Reducing inflammation is key again. Studies show it boosts the activity of fibroblasts, those are the cells that build gum tissue. It helps them multiply, move, make proteins, all good for healing. It might also help with healing after gum surgery, like improving outcomes for treating gum recession.
So actively helping rebuild lost gum tissue.
That's the potential, yes. Improving the success of procedures like connective tissue grafts or coronally advanced flaps.
Okay, and what about dental implants? That's a huge area.
Absolutely. In implant dentistry, PBM seems valuable for enhancing wound healing right after placement and easing post-surgical pain.
Makes sense.
But perhaps more importantly, it appears to positively influence osseointegration.
That's the implant actually bonding with the bone, the critical part.
Exactly. By boosting that cellular energy, ATP, promoting angiogenesis, new blood vessel formation, and encouraging osteoblasts, the bone-building cells, while keeping inflammation in check, it seems to help create a better environment for the implant to integrate successfully and become stable.
So potentially leading to more predictable, successful implants. That's significant. And lastly, endodontics, root canals and such.
Yep. In endodontics, it's being used or explored for controlling pain after root canals, maybe making anesthesia penetrate deeper, treating tooth sensitivity.
Dentinal hypersensitivity.
That's the one. Also reducing inflammation in the pulp or surrounding tissues, and generally aiding wound healing, for instance, helping tissues heal after infection when used alongside conventional treatment. It might even make patients more comfortable after certain pulp procedures by reducing sensitivity.
It really is amazing how versatile this seems to be across almost every specialty in dentistry.
It really is. The common threads are reducing inflammation, managing pain, and accelerating the body's natural healing mechanisms.
Now, we mentioned specific wavelengths being key. The outline mentions 635 nanometer and 810 nanometer light. Is there specific research focusing just on that combination for these oral conditions?
That's a good point. The therapeutic window is generally that 600 to 1150 nanometers we talked about, covering red and near-infrared light. Diode lasers used in dentistry often fall within this range, sometimes using wavelengths like 880 millimeters, 980 millimeters, or others.
Okay.
And 635 millimeter, which is red, and 810 millimeter, which is near infrared, definitely sit right within that effective window. There are wavelengths known to have good biological effects.
Right.
However, the specific source material for this deep dive didn't detail research focusing exclusively on the combination of only 635 millimeters and 810 millimeters across all these oral applications. We know different wavelengths penetrate differently and are absorbed by different things.
So the exact choice depends on the goal.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But wavelengths like 635 millimeters and 810 millimeter are certainly relevant and commonly used within the broader field of PBM for these types of benefits, reducing inflammation, speeding up healing.
Okay, that clarifies things. So, given this wide range of scientifically supported benefits, better healing, less inflammation, pain relief, tissue regeneration, it really highlights the potential for technologies leveraging PBM.
Absolutely. Companies developing devices that can accurately deliver these specific wavelengths, perhaps like those MedWave Group might offer, are tapping into this solid foundation of research.
It addresses those core problems of healing and inflammation that, as we discussed, really affect patients' lives.
Exactly. It offers a non-invasive way to potentially improve outcomes across so many different dental procedures.
This has been incredibly insightful, a real deep dive into the science. It's clear photobiomodulation isn't just a niche thing. The compelling research shows its potential is pretty vast in dentistry.
It really is. And it emphasizes that non-invasive approach, working with the body's own systems to heal faster and feel better. Less pain, less inflammation, that's a win for everyone.
And understanding the mechanisms, the wavelengths, the dosage, that's obviously crucial for getting the best results clinically.
Absolutely. The research is constantly evolving, refining those parameters.
So, summing up, the evidence is strong and growing. PBM offers a promising way to enhance dental care,
Definitely.
which leaves us with a final thought to ponder. Considering just how diverse the applications are and the positive findings we've discussed, how might photobiomodulation truly revolutionize conventional dental treatments and, maybe more importantly, enhance your experience as a patient in the coming years?
That's the exciting question, isn't it? How integrated will this become?
Something to keep an eye on. We definitely encourage you to explore the ongoing advancements. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.